Hello, everybody, and welcome to the giant conversation that is Topic Talks. I have a full studio here today. I have Anthony and Justin joining me. Do you guys want to say hi?
Not really.
What's going on?
How's it going, guys?
It'll be a wild time. We have a lot of topics today, and probably a lot of tangents that the two unnamed
before you
people.
get to that, I want to talk about something completely different.
So since we've got a lot to talk about, why don't we get started? The first thing that I want to talk about is the Apple versus the federal government. Have you guys heard a little bit about what's going on?
I have.
Yes, I have heard all too much.
So kind of the gist of what's happened before is they had the iPhone of the San Bernardino bomber, and they said, Apple, unlock this. And Apple said no, because writing the software was basically like writing a virus for this thing that we've created, that is Apple and the iPhone. And it ended up the FBI found some other way to get into the iPhone. Well, now they're back, and because they went to court, and originally the judge said that, well, I'm not going to make them write this code. Well, the federal government's appealing that decision, but they're like, okay, well, there's this drug dealer, unlock his phone. And once again, Apple's like, no, still not going to do it.
Actually, I'll stop you there, because originally I thought that federal appeals court had actually heard the case and did force Apple to open it up.
It was a third party that ended up
I know
opening
they
up
did,
the phone.
but from what I was hearing for the longest time was Apple was actually getting in some trouble and with a whole lot of problems because the federal courts told them, you will do this, and Apple's just like, make us?
Yeah, pretty much it was Apple is like, make us, you need to make us do this, or else we're not going to do it. They ended up not doing it. A third party came up and said, hey, I can unlock it.
Because I know the company behind the McAfee security suite actually stepped forward originally and said, no, don't force them to do this. We'll crack it for you. It's like, we won't actually charge you anything for it. We'll just crack it. But I didn't hear anything about that. Maybe they were the ones who ended up cracking it. I don't know.
Yeah, all it says and everything that I found is it is an unnamed third party.
Yeah, maybe because it's slightly illegal to go hacking into other people's stuff.
Yes.
And I read through some of the articles, and one thing I thought was interesting is that they said, we'll unlock it for you, but you require a subpoena or a warrant or some piece of legal information. So I think I'm with you. I don't think that they ever actually got that far, at least on Apple's side.
Yeah.
All I know is...
Well, what I was hearing was, it was actually, Apple was the one going through with the appeals. And it was... Because originally what I was hearing was that they were first told that, yes, you will do it, but then they started filing appeal after appeal after appeal, and they're saying, like, no, this is our right, that, we don't have to do this until all the appeals are settled, which, they were planning and prepared to take it all the way up to the, Supreme Court of the United States, which, let's face it, that would hold this up for
years.
Probably 5-6 years minimum.
Do you guys think that they should do it?
Well, here's the problem. I see. Well, it's kind of a philosophical problem where obviously there's no question of, yes, they needed into this guy's phone because it wasn't actually the San Bernardino their phone. It was their neighbor who supplied them with weapons. So they were trying to find out who he was contacting from, who he was buying for him. Potentially, was he doing it for other people? So, yes, there is very much a good cause. They need it in that phone. Period. There's no question about that. And I think Apple should have stepped forward and done it for them. But what they're saying is, if they do it once...
It's going to become the norm.
It's going to become the norm. But here's the thing that I was reading in an article a couple months back when this had already been going on for a little while. But they were pointing out all these other times that Apple had done the exact same thing and had just okay, you want this? Here, have it. For the federal government, state governments, even local governments. When they needed this information, and they just gave it to them. But this time it's now such a public forum, it seems like they're trying to save face by saying, oh, the world's watching, so we're going to say, no, we hold our users' security paramount.
Well, Apple did say in a statement that, or some paperwork that was going through the courts, that the government has not said whether they have tried to use a secret method previously. So,
Well, they could. Well, I'm not reading the article you're reading, but way you're saying it, there's multiple ways that could be taken.
well, but it also says that Apple said that the government has utterly failed to satisfy the burden to demonstrate that Apple's assistance in this case is necessary. And then I misread. And then they said, Apple, then the second quote, but I don't know. I watched an interview with the CEO of Apple, and he did say that, he said, we haven't done that before, but he also did say that if we write the code to get into an iPhone, he said if somebody were to hack their system somehow, they would have access to any iPhone they wanted.
Well, yeah, because it's one encryption system. And they had actually just updated it, I think, about a year prior? And when they started all their bragging about how they had the most secure encryption system of any mobile company.
All I know is that what makes it secure is the fact that it creates an algorithm based on the passcode that you generate. So even they can't break it. At least that was the intent. Now, one of the articles I read earlier today suggested that they've been sharing information in regards to specific things when it came to iPhones, specifically when they're stolen. They access them and find their locations, and they share that with the law. But that's, according to that article, is 94%, while the other 6% is miscellaneous things.
I wonder if they can track the actual, like, if they can track the phone, but they can't access the information on it. Does that make sense?
I think that's what they were getting
From
at.
what I understand, that is the case, that they don't have direct access to the information stored on the phone itself. Now, your iCloud, I know for a fact, that has been a long-standing, they'll hand that out to just about anybody. If, you put something and it goes to their cloud, that's now officially Apple's information. They have free reign of it and can do with...
And that's part of the privacy policy as well.
Well, so. and maybe that's what they've been handing over to the government is what's been on the cloud.
That's the question. There's a lot of history behind this. This isn't the first time this problem has come up. It's the first time it's come up in this large of a forum and so public, but it's not the first time this has been an issue. But yes,
it is far from being the last time. No. At least in my opinion, because
no, it can't be, because this is pretty well done, because this spat is over for the most part. It's winding down, and it's pretty much ending in not so much a clear winner on either side.
It's basically that Apple hasn't had to give the information that the government has requested, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a gray area because, if they were to be nice, it would be awesome if they could write the code and get the information, and that would put us one step closer or 2 steps back on, the investigation. But then you've also got the chance that because it is set up the way it is, if somebody gets a hold of that code,
you have millions of people are now compromised.
Exactly.
And I think that's Apple's primary concern, is their privacy is their livelihood for their business.
Well, and in the interview, he said, we're not going to risk millions of people's privacy just for, one possible lead. We don't even know what's on that phone. There could be nothing on there. Or just, just regular personal information, pictures of so he's like, we're not going to risk all these people's security for, just what may not even be
basically
anything.
What I was hearing from what they were looking for to try and get in this phone was they were looking for a few things. One, the guy's contacts. Find who he talks to regularly and all that. Just to kind of corroborate with his phone records. And basically who he's been texting, the content of those. because from what I understand, the information of those text messages isn't actually stored anywhere unless it has a current tap on. So they're trying to find they are grasping at straws, but there's ways that they can pull it from the phone if they get in there.
Well, and they've done it once before. They did it with his phone already. They got into the phone and got the information off. Why are they bugging Apple again for another phone if they've already got?
Because they're two separate cases. Because what we're reading here, this is a completely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's along the same line, but it's a completely different case. So basically what they're trying to do is, with the way things rested with the San Bernardino case, it didn't leave a stable precedent for the FBI to come just straight up take Apple to the court and say, hey, do this, and the judge pretty much has no choice because of the precedent but to say, yeah, okay. Whereas this, it's just almost a continuation of the thing, just a little less emotionally charged. Because now you're changing from a terrorist act, which,
National security.
You got national security backing that up, plus everybody's watching it, to now something that's just a regular criminal case, basically.
Drug case, right?
Yeah, they're trying to bust a drug dealer. Now, how far up on the line this guy goes, I don't know. I doubt they'd be bothering with a street level thug, but, oh man, this mouse is bugging out.
To me, it sounds like the government's pushing this more so because once they do get the okay to do this, they have a whole new network of information to track.
Yeah, they're looking for that precedent so they can go in and say,
based on what we see, these patterns here, we're going to come in, we got to look at this person.
Yeah, it was sort of like you can guarantee the first search warrant that the feds ever got was a lot harder to get than the rest of them.
And then you're going to have something like Minority Report where they're trying to stop people before they even actually have been convicted of any crime.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next topic.
Oh, but we're having so much fun. But we are kind of talking
Government
in circles.
control is
I was going to say, we're pretty much talking in circles, and I mean, we've said everything that we probably could say.
Yeah.
Do you think it's right?
I don't. I don't. Well, right in which way? Is it right that Apple won't?
Do you think it's right that the government should be able to push a company to do something that violates its customers' privacy?
No.
What about you?
It really, I think, depends on a case-by-case basis. But, as I think that Apple and the public is worried about the precedent. Because once it's set, there's no going back, period.
That's one of the reasons that it was such a big case. So,
yeah.
The only thing we can do is kind of sit back and see how it unfolds.
Yeah, because you can guarantee if something had been done like this in the courts before, this would not be a thing we're talking about right now.
Agreed.
Guaranteed.
Okay, so on to our next topic. It's just a little story that I found. Everybody knows that Disney Channel stars have kind of, after their show's done, they kind of go haywire. This is another case, but it's not exactly the same as a lot. The star of Jessie, Debbie Ryan, was found. She was charged with drunk driving.
What else is new?
I was going to say a lot of people have.
That's pretty common these days.
But she also sent out a tweet afterwards, after a couple days, and she said,
over the last few days, I've had a chance to think about my actions, and I wish I had used better judgment. I recognize that I am a role model and have always worked hard to set a good example for my millions of fans. I'm so sorry to disappoint everyone.
Well, and
I mean, the fact that
I'm
she
sorry,
took the time.
That sounds like a PR person wrote that.
Not that, yeah.
Yeah,
But you know what, though? There's been a lot of people who they've got caught drinking and driving and done a lot worse crap, and they don't care. It at least shows that, she cared enough to say, hey, how can I fix this?
As I said, that sounds like a PR person wrote it.
Yeah, did she make that decision? Did somebody else?
Yeah, there's a lot when you're talking about somebody who's a star of something like that. I mean, especially, is the show still on? I don't know what show we're even talking about.
It's the show Jessie. It's about a nanny who takes care of...
Disney, don't sue us.
A whole bunch of
Well, I
Kids
don't need to
for
know the premise.
a
I
pair
just
of
want to
rich-
know is it still on? How long ago it went off? Because
No, it's
No
not
idea.
still on.
I don't watch Disney no more since I grew up.
yeah.
It is not on anymore. It went off. They actually have a spin-off of it because the kids wanted to keep acting, and I think Debbie Ryan was kind of like, okay, I need to
Okay,
move on.
put it this way: when was she last associated with Disney?
I don't
Because
know.
if it's been within like the last 3 to 5 years, Disney's gonna have their fingers in there hard.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
they
this
could have
is-
threatened, her people, because all these stars, no matter how small, they've got pretty much an army of people focusing on PR, on legal representation, and so many other things. Even the manager. You know, when you're coming just off of Disney and something like that, you can't be going for the crazy starlet already.
Right.
I mean, just going, screw y'all, I'm doing whatever I want, aka Lindsay Lohan.
Right. Well, it's the image too, and I think that's Disney does whatever they can to protect that image because this is a pretty common thing. They might as well have the little notches on their belt for every Disney child that's had some sort of special event in their life that's been negative, whether it's drinking or driving or drugs.
Well, that's the thing. That's one of the things that you can actually kind of like about Disney is once their stars do no, their stance on it. Once one of their little starlets steps out of line even once,
they crack that
they're
whip.
done.
They cut them off, right? Well, if
Yeah,
they cut them off sooner, they wouldn't have been in the problem with the drinking or the drugs to begin with.
Well, we're talking about child actors here. That's what they specialize. That's pretty much all they do. And you're going to get some growing pains. There's a lot of money with a lot of immaturity here.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you were 16 years old and all of a sudden had $5 million just in your pocket. What would you have done?
I would hope not drugs. I mean, if I'm wealthy, I'm not gonna go blow it on drugs. I'm gonna do something else. But then again, I'm not raised in that circumstance.
There's so many. It's so alien to somebody like you or me.
You would think that Disney, at least at this point, would say, okay, there's something wrong with our formula because we keep spitting these druggies
Well,
and
realistically,
booze drinkers out.
Realistically, they have. It's a very small percentage. Realistically, just the ones that go crazy do so spectacularly.
And
As I mentioned before, Lindsay Lohan.
Well, or you could mention Miley Cyrus too.
Yeah.
Well, Miley Cyrus.
I think she
really
does that intentionally. I think she knows aware of what she's doing.
She is so well aware. She hasn't gone to jail yet for anything, as far as I know. So she's staying on relatively the right side of the law. Which if it was really all that just craziness, she'd have had some run-ins by now.
I agree.
Jessie did end in 2015, October
Oh,
of
yeah,
2015.
so Disney's got their fingers in there hard. Especially, as you said, if they've got a spin-off show. They're like, yep, nope, you're not ruining us.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened, why she decided to leave. And I don't know who wrote this, but...
Because she wanted a big girl career in real movies.
That could have been it.
Oh, come on, that's always it, and you know it. I want to prove that I'm an adult and a serious actor.
Stop before Disney sues us, okay? I'm broke as it is.
We should put one of those disclaimers you see. This is, all mentions are made in review and or parody, terms of free use, whatever.
It's all opinion.
Yep.
It is.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Just say allegedly in front of everything and you're safe.
On to the next.
Actually, we probably should have, mentioned something about allegedly she was drunk driving, but... Yeah, well, actually, we just said she was charged with it, so that is a statement of fact.
And I post all the links of where I get all my information.
That's good.
So
you can find it at his website.
Does he even have a website?
I don't know.
I have.
Watch, it's gonna be like late 90s, just HTML, black text on black background.
On to the next topic.
You gotta highlight the whole screen
before I shut these two guys off. The next topic is a lead tiger keeper. So she was kind of the head of all the keepers in a zoo, was killed by one of the tigers she was caring for.
Okay, one question. Just think about this for a second. what kind of paths do you have to take in life where your job title is literally lead tiger keeper? That sounds like something out of a poorly translated manga. It really does.
I agree. But
Well, but I mean,
you gotta. I
Lead
mean, to
tiger
get to that,
keeper.
you must have love animals. I mean, I imagine that this isn't something she never expected.
well, and it was said
Yeah.
in the article, her and her husband are both work at the zoo and are both work with the tigers, and she showed a love for it, and one of the people that did the interview actually said that it was almost like she could talk to the tigers and hear what they were saying. She was
I
so
can
good
talk
with
to
it.
a tiger. The question is whether or not they talk back.
Well, but she's like, she had such a way with tigers that it was uncanny.
But it doesn't matter. These are very dangerous creatures,
they're
and
wild
you forget that
animals.
for a moment.
They are.
Yeah.
If you start treating them like a dog, I mean, even my cat claws me a lot. I pet her and so, and that's a little itty bitty thing that I'm 10 times the size.
Yeah, and now imagine if one of those claws can,
Shred
sink
your
into
gut?
through your skull and
Yeah.
just, lights out, buddy.
And I appreciate what these people do because it allows people like me to sit behind the safety of a fence and just observe
Just go
them,
like,
but
yep,
Well-
you're crazy.
It was actually, she was preparing for a show. It was a 13-year-old male tiger. She was preparing for a show.
Does anybody know how long an average tiger in captivity lives?
I do not know.
I don't know, but they're as big as a car.
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I were in.
I know they're big. I've seen them.
Canada, and we went through this drive-through place, and tiger right up against the lion. Sorry, lion. Right up against the side of our car,
Yeah.
and the thing was as big as my wife's vehicle.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Wait. Are we talking about her new vehicle?
No,
Because
not her bug.
I was
No,
gonna
it
say it's
was
a bug.
It was a
It was
Malibu.
like my dog is the size of
No,
that car.
it's a Malibu, and I mean it's 4 doors, so it's pretty big.
It's a decent
And
size vehicle.
when this thing
It's
walked
mid-sized
up right
sedan.
next to us, and I was just like, its head is as big as the hood. So these animals are huge.
Yeah.
Well, and then you've got all these people like taking care of them and always around. Now it did say that the tiger was not loose. It wasn't just walking around. So it
Well,
did
I
have-
would assume so. I mean, this is a major place.
Right, but was it on on a chain or a harness of
It
sorts?
didn't say. It just said that it was not loose.
So they probably it was reported that it was loose.
It was
but maybe
reported that it was loose, and they said it was not loose. They were preparing for a show. Luckily, everybody who was waiting to see the show, nobody saw what happened. Like none of them.
Nobody saw her get mauled.
Right. It was all happening
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Small favors, because that's actually a rare thing where, not a million people see it.
I mean, could you
Probably
could,
heard it. I'd imagine somebody screaming.
could you imagine if
Yeah.
they had seen it? There would be
People would be terrified.
this would be more
Yeah.
than just a little, a little short
I
story.
mean, what
like
do
it
you
was.
what do you do? I mean,
No, there's been similar things that happen. We get a case like this, tigers especially, one every like 2-3 years.
Well,
but different animals, we get those every like 6
do
months.
you remember the
When
two
animals
brothers?
Yeah.
A while ago, there were two brothers that they owned the tiger. I'm trying to remember who.
Was it a tiger? It wasn't a tiger.
It was
I
a
don't think.
tiger.
Are you sure?
It was a white tiger.
Maybe it was a
'Cause
white
it
tiger.
was one of the rare white tigers, and he got mauled by it. He's still living. His face is all messed up, and he's still around the tiger. They didn't get rid of him. He like
I remember that.
Usually,
Didn't he,
when
like,
stuff
lean-
like that happens, it's out of your hands on whether or not that animal lives, because it gets put down. Period.
And to me, I honestly think that that's the wrong approach. I'm gonna be honest. I think if you take an animal into your home or in captivity and are training it and are mauled by it, the animal shouldn't be punished for that. It's a wild animal. No matter
Yeah.
how much time you spend trying to train this thing, even a
Yeah.
man goes nuts once in a while and backhand somebody, So
Yeah.
how we put those people down,
Yeah, and 99% of the time, it isn't the animal's fault as much as it is the trainer.
it was
I-
Siegfried
yeah.
and Roy.
Oh,
Oh,
Siegfried
you're talking
and
about
Roy?
Siegfried and Roy? I thought you were talking about some children.
Yeah, it's like, man, that's completely different. And didn't one of the brothers die and the others just messed up?
No,
'Cause I thought one of them died.
no, only one of them got mauled by the tiger, and
Yeah,
his
this
face.
wasn't 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, this
a
was
long
like
time ago.
10,
2003.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was,
okay,
this was a
13
while
years ago. A
Yeah.
little off there.
But I mean, it doesn't matter how long ago it was. It's still a tiger attack.
You were like 9, man.
I was, and I still remember it.
Just not that they're famous magicians that got mauled.
I can throw the names Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah.
You know what? Since he got mauled.
I haven't heard nothing about it, huh?
Yeah.
But they had been using that tiger in their shows for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
sure
mean, they were
That was during a show,
extremely
actually.
famous at that point.
Was
Yeah,
it?
it happened on the Vegas Strip. I forget which casino, but
That's rough.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, he
I
definitely.
mean, hey, well, have you seen how much a lot of those tickets go for those shows? I mean, yeah.
do you think, that, Stacy, what is it, Noah's her?
Yep, no wizard.
Wishes she was more like Jesse and wishes she had better judgment? Oh, that's bad.
Well, you know, we weren't there, and you know,
Right,
we're hearing
speculating.
this third hand. I mean, we're going through Aaron, and let's face it, he's not the most reliable
I gave you the
source for people who, you know.
I gave you the link. You
Where?
chose
I am
the-
literally seeing no links here, other than
Right at the bottom.
down there,
Right at the bottom.
It's right in blue, man. It's underlined and everything.
It's blue.
Well, I was
I
seeing
see
this
it.
one, and it's like, okay, there's the only link I see, and it's
You
like
click on it,
Disney
and it-
stars. Nope, that's the
Kunze,
previous topic.
let's give you a little lesson. Links are blue and underlined. You click on them, and it takes you to a magical thing called
Yes.
the internet.
It's like a magic mirror.
Aaron, how
Let
long
you
were
see
you
the
coming
world.
to me for computer advice?
Never.
You hear that?
I
It's funny
never-
because I
Burn.
can think several occasions.
I was over here recently, actually.
Yeah.
How's it working?
Actually, really well. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Next time I'm sending you a bill.
We've only got 3 minutes left, so it's time for me to do my little spiel. This show is something that I wanted to do for fun, and I try to incorporate as much of the listening audience as I can. If you guys if you have any topics you want us to talk about, I now have a Topic Talks Facebook page. You can send it to that. You can send it to my personal page. If you want to bug the crap out of Anthony, you can probably contact him. He probably won't answer. Zach, who
Yeah,
will
I'll
be
just
jo-
assume you're a collector and tell you, you know, I'll just pick up the phone, just cuss on a blue streak. So just
Zach will be joining us in the second half. You can contact him.
you know,
There's,
I don't think I've met this Zach fella yet.
there's a lot of people who you can contact, but
know
we
Zach.
really love to hear your topics and what you want to hear about.
I can't hear you over Aaron.
Yeah.
So,
Try not to be rude.
and that's on purpose. Anyway, so we've got about 2 minutes left.
I know Zach, he fills our vending machines at work.
Are you serious? Oh man.
Same Zach?
No,
Earrings with big holes in his...
no.
Oh, okay. Are you sure?
This guy does really cool, funny voices. Goes to school.
Okay.
He-
That
We're-
narrows
we're-
it down
that-
to a massive list, dude.
Yeah, that's literally
Anyway.
every Zach I've ever known.
Anyway, so this show, well, we would like you to send in as many topics as you possibly can.
Yes, all two of you. Thank you.
Well, you got 3 now. I listened, so that's 3 of us.
you looked last week and there was 150.
It doesn't count if you
Something
refresh the
play-
page, dude.
I didn't refresh
Yeah,
the
he's
page.
just sitting over there. Refresh.
Okay, so we're gonna
He's
hop
just
off
like,
real quick.
I'm getting so many views.
Yay.
When we come back, we have our Movie Madness Monday, and on that we are going to talk about Ben Affleck and him being Batman. And there's actually an announcement that he made. We're also going to talk about Killing Joke, the new Joker cartoon, and we're going to talk about Deadpool. So we'll be right back.